look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look now and take some time for hemp. I don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Oh, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, right now it's time for hemp.
Thank you for taking Time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to Time for Hemp on Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Just a reminder, we are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all cannabis all the time. We are the only broadcasting network in iHeartRadio that is all cannabis all the time. And we ask that you share us with your friends. It is Thursday. And on Thursday, we put a spotlight on the hardworking people across America who are trying to end prohibition. And usually my joint host is Paul Stanford, who is with us today. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you, Casper?
Fine, thank you. I know you are a busy activist. What have you been up to here this past week?
Oh, there's so many different things. Just trying to take care of business and change the world.
And
how about you?
We have a joint member of our joint family on the Big Joint broadcast today. Remind people, anytime you hear the word joint on the Big Joint broadcast, nearly 2.5 million people all around the world pack their bongs, their pipes, their vaporizers, and twist up a joint to smoke at Time for Hemp. And welcome back to our Big Joint broadcast. We have Don Skakie. Don, how have you been?
Very good, Casper. Good to see you again. Paul, good morning.
Good morning.
And Don, I know you're busy up in Washington, the state of, and you're diligently trying to change things there and end prohibition on cannabis. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Well, there's a lot of work to do in Washington, Casper. You may be aware that our legislature passed and our governor signed Senate Bill 5052, ostensibly called the Cannabis Patient Protection Act, which, of course, in the form of government, does nothing to protect patients and actually has several aspects that are what we feel are harmful to patients. To that end, we have filed referendum 76. It seeks to have a vote of the people, either approve what the legislature has done or reject certain sections of what the legislature has done. Well, there has been many discussions about why didn't we referendum the whole bill. The fact is that there are several sections that are subject to emergency clauses. Emergency clauses are not subject to referendum. And quite honestly, there are a few things in the bill that are okay. The last consideration was we couldn't make this our dream referendum for what patients want. This would go to a vote of the mainstream voters in November. And so, of course, our concern is that once we qualify, that we have to convince the mainstream voters that this actually is something that should be rejected. And so we focused on the minimum necessary to achieve several goals, which would be to restore patient plant counts back to 15, which are currently down to 4 or 6 if you participate in the registry, and our weight limits of 24 ounces, which have been reduced to 8 ounces. The other aspect is authorizations are now going to be very difficult to get. 5052 would require that authorizations only be given by a primary care physician actively treating the patient for their debilitating condition. And then that would be subject to approval by the State Department of Health. So that's quite an intrusion into the patient-doctor relationship. The last thing, of course, is that on July 3rd of 2016, all of our current medical access points would be required to close unless they are licensed through the State Liquor Control and Cannabis Board under the 502 system. So this is a great concern because we're unsure of if patients are forced to go get their medicine either from a recreational store or a state licensed store that's supplied solely by the 502 growers. There's a concern about pesticides, as there's over 200 pesticides that are allowed to be used on recreational cannabis products. That concern alone, I mean, if there's pesticides that the state has said, well, these are recreational users, if they smoke a joint on Saturday night, it's not going to kill them. That may be one thing, and I don't know that that's healthy either. But we certainly can't expect patients that have to medicate on a daily basis or even several times a day basis to be building up those pesticides in their bodies. So these are the reasons why we filed Referendum 76, and these are the reasons why we feel that it's passable. We think that the government is just taking a look at cannabis now with dollar signs in their eyes and not with any compassion for patients. They have a registry here. I know Oregon has a registry, but a registry has always been something we fought here in Washington. There's now that it's legal for anyone over 21 to have it, we don't see the need or the reason to expect patients to be tracked down and located. We don't need that. It's unnecessary. So there's a lot of concerns patients have. They see that their trusted access that they've grown to know and be accommodated by going away. And if they have to compete with recreational consumers, we actually raise a specter of, I need my medicine, I'm going to get paid on Friday, I'm going to go get my medicine on Friday, and somebody else has beat me to the strain that I need because they're having a party that night. Now, I don't want to deny anyone their cannabis, certainly not even recreational consumers. But we do have to consider patients' needs above the needs of those that just simply want to get high.
Paul, is your mic on mute?
No, I hope not.
Okay.
You hear me?
Now we can, yes. There was just a...
All right.
I hope I gave you enough to chew on there.
Yeah, certainly. So our audience knows a little bit, I think, about the shortcomings of I-502. Of course, Washington and Colorado legalized, theoretically, the use of cannabis, but Washington's I-502, unlike Colorado's and Oregon's new law and Alaska's, doesn't even allow people to grow their own. Isn't that right?
Not even one plant. And actually, you are familiar with Real Legalization, another group I'm involved with. That group has Initiative 739. The language that we originally got back made it appear that it was directed to medical only, when in fact it's a much broader legalization. Provides for the home growing at the medical limits of 15 plants and possession limits of 24 ounces for any adult in Washington State. This would be out of public view. That's where any person walking in a public area unaided by other devices or, elevated platforms or ladders or anything. If it's out of public view, you'd be able to grow it. If your neighbor could see it, that's not public view, so that would be, you'd be able to grow a few plants in your backyard. And that would be without tax, fee, license, permit, or registration with any government entity. So this is should the referendum fail to qualify, should the referendum not pass at the ballot if it qualifies, there is something in the pipe right behind that, which is this Initiative 739. That will be collecting signatures now through December 31st. Would go to the legislature in January. but then likely, of course, be voted on by the public next November. So there's always hope, but we're working very hard. We have seen such gains since Initiative 692, our Medical Use of Cannabis Act, passed in 1998. We saw, things come along ahead when they expanded the ability to get your authorization from anyone with prescriptive authority. This was a great benefit to patients across the state, especially those in rural areas that may be distant from care providers, or for other people with less resources that don't have a regular care provider at all. The state has just tightened that up, and we don't feel they've done so because of the interest of patients. We feel they've done so because they don't want the competition that medical is perceived to be to their recreational system that is their tax cow, their cash cow. So, no, you cannot.
When I-502 passed, they said it wasn't going to affect medical marijuana, but now it seems like it's come to the eliminating medical marijuana, and so this new Senate Bill 5052 says that they will only allow patients to buy Washington's highly taxed cannabis. Explain to our listeners why cannabis is so expensive in Washington. My understanding is that the dispensaries in Washington, the price of cannabis is $15 and sometimes more than $30 a gram. Is that right?
Wow. I've heard those horror stories. In addition to my activism work, I employed checking authorizations at the Northwest Cannabis Market, Rainier location in Seattle. We have another location in White Center, and between our two locations, we're coming up on over 1 million patients served since 2011. This environment, where we have 20 to 30 vendors on any given day, is highly competitive. There is a wide variety of medicine, both top shelf and shake if you need it, and everything's priced accordingly and competitively. So I cannot say that I've seen those prices in this market at all, but anecdotally I have heard from other patients where they've gone into places and just been amazed at the lack of selection and the high prices for what is available. The cost concerns of a 502 store are, and this is, again, going back to my concerns with 5052. If patients are forced to buy through the 502 system, that's taxed 25% at the grower, 25% at the processor, 25% at the end distributor, and then an additional sales tax of roughly 10%, depending on where you are in the state, for the sales tax. Now, we go back to look at the registration, the registry of 5052, that ostensibly gives you a tax break, but the tax break is only on the sales tax. So we have patients that are already, with limited means. Quite a few of them are making choices whether to pay a bill or get their medicine, and to just tack on that burden onto those that can least afford it is patently unfair.
So can you say, I know I've been encouraging people to circulate R76 or Referendum 76 to stop the elimination of medical marijuana in Washington. What kind of response are you getting from those dispensaries out there?
Honestly, I just came from the mailbox about a half an hour ago. The mailbox is pretty full every day. We're getting access points that we didn't even mail petitions out to involved. I don't know if you're aware of this. We have our PDF for our petition. The legalese on the back is all had to be required to be on there. It's in 3.5 font type, which is very small. but it's very readable if it's printed at a print shop. Some home printers may not pick it up. You have to see it or not. But we do have a PDF available online that anyone can print, and people have been printing off of that. And we also have a file file retrieval code at FedEx. And any person or access point across the state can walk into any FedEx and say, I want file retrieval code, whatever the current code is this week, which is, I don't have it in front of me. And they can print those clearly. And we also have a participating supporter that has a discount code with FedEx, and we can get our costs down. When you go into FedEx and ask for a single copy, it's typically about 50 cents a piece, 48 to 52 cents a piece. But using this system, we can get that cost down to as low as 8 or 10 or 12 cents a piece, depending on how many you run. And that's what I'm seeing in the mail today. I'm seeing mail from access points that I know that I haven't spoke to directly, and I don't know about other members of my team, but as we review what's coming in, that seems to be the feeling is like, wow, we didn't even know these people were here. So it's very encouraging, and the numbers keep increasing. But we have until July 23rd. We must turn in by 5 o'clock on July 23rd, which means that by the 21st we have to make an appointment so the elections office can have staff available to receive those signatures. And so we're going to be right down to the wire, but it's really great to see that access points, authorization clinics. Paul, I can tell you I've gotten several envelopes from your Spokane office out there. They're doing a great job. Yeah. They're getting petitions out, and they're collecting them back in and sending them in. And as you know, Paul, that's an important thing. Is it's great to go out there and collect signatures, but please do not let them sit on your counter. Don't let them put in your drawer. Just get them in the mail. Some people are not so encouraged. They might get a 20 signature sheet. They might have limited mobility and only know a few people, and so only get 5 or 6, and then kind of get discouraged that they can't do more, and they set it aside. Don't get discouraged. Mail that in and start a fresh sheet. If everybody just does what they can every day and then once a week, mail those into the campaign, that's when they count. Your signature does not count until we get it. So please make sure that we get it, and please make sure that we have it turned into the elections office by July 23rd. So we want them by the 21st, but we will definitely not turn anyone away that shows up at the last minute in Olympia there with sheets in hand.
And like your signatures,
we must qualify this.
And like your signatures that don't count until you get it, our dollars don't count until we get them, and we don't get them until we do our commercial breaks. So that's what we're going to make happen here. And then we're going to listen to a song about how fantastic marijuana is, and then come back and pick up where we left off here at Time for Hemp.
Are listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. Please share us with your friends.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp-health.com. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188, and the site is hemp.org.
Contagion of mind, monetization, definition, heaven's gift outline. I'm the teacher, the preacher, apple seed of the word, the holy shepherd of blaze, and come and join my herd. I'm driven, I'm living, and I'm giving to you the holy keys to Zion, from the plants that I grew, from the shaman to the common, the joy that I bring. Will have you speaking in tongues as you join, will you see? I got the fire to cry, I got the fire to cry. The Messiah, sweet, so I know it's Messiah. I got the fire to cry, I got the fire to cry. If you're shopping, I'm chopping, she's the bomb I can buy. Seedless and needless to trim up the vine. Go on and rip it and strip it. The bouquet is divine. It's peerless and fearless. Come on and come on. You'll put your head in the clouds. See Mother Nature's call. A vaporizer and fire. So let your jiggy all night. Gotta buy it to try it. Come up on this flight. You gotta roll it or roll it. You know whatever you choose. For the creative soul, she's gonna be on you. I got the fire to cry. I got the fire to cry. Gonna grip your soul and rhythm. You gotta tie it. I got the fire to cry. I got the fire to cry. My weed is the creed and your
That was White Pooter playing Bionic Chronic here on Time for Hemp. You are listening to Time for Hemp 1 hour broadcast on the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network. I want to remind you that we are not just a 1 hour show, but we are a team of people who are working diligently to raise the voice of the marijuana movement, a growing team of people, as a matter of fact, who are dedicated to seeing marijuana re-legalization become a reality, industrial hemp be reintroduced back into the farm community all around the world, and medical marijuana patients be able to get their medications without being considered a criminal. Also, I want to say thank you to KDK Distributors for being nice enough to give us a grant to keep us loud, proud, and strong. We are on the Big Joint broadcast today with my joint host, Paul Stanford, and our joint guest, Don Skakie. And Don and Paul, I'm going to get back to smoking my joint and let you get back to your joint conversation here on the Big Joint broadcast. Paul?
Hey, Don. You there?
You bet, brother.
So, you're working on the referendum 76 in Washington. You know, how's it going with your volunteer drive? You're getting signatures in the mail, but, you know, are you able to mount a paid petition drive? How is fundraising going?
Fundraising has been tenuous at best. We've gotten $1,000 commitments from a lot of people like yourself and others, but they haven't added up to enough to pay signature gatherers to help us. The signature gathering companies that we've been involved with over the years are able to do this job. The 123,000 signatures needed, less what we've gotten already, could have been gotten in about 3 weeks if done professionally. My issue is I can't in good faith take someone's money and spend it on signature gathering if we don't have enough to make it. If we don't, we can't pay them. I was involved with a previous initiative a few years back. We came to the end of the signature drive. We were short some, and paid gatherers had gone out and collected signatures and withheld them. So at the end, we had the opportunity to buy the signatures we needed, but there was no money to do so, so the effort did not qualify as a ballot. And I can't see that happening here. I mean, we either can or we can't. I am not.
So yeah, I mean, for 120,000 signatures, you're going to need at least $250,000, right?
Yes, roughly. Yeah, we'll probably probably about 200,000. This issue, cannabis reform resonates with not only with our community, with the public at large, but with even these signature gatherers. And we had an initial contest, ask of $1.95 a signature, which puts it up in the $250,000 range. But they've been willing to do it for less, but we still haven't reached that number of commitment to go there. Now, of course, as we go into July, the signature gathering for our state initiatives is wrapping up, and these people are going to be gone. So I don't know how effective looking to them at the end will be should we get that commitment. But the problem is a lot of people have looked at 50-52 and they've made some choices. The choices seem to be, fuck this, I'm going back underground. I'm going to go black market. Hey, I've had it with this. I'm leaving the state. I'm going to go to Colorado or California, somewhere else that is not 50-52 all up. Or they've said, screw the patients, we're going to go 502. And I don't understand any of that thinking. This is where we live. This is where we need to be. And this is where our fight needs to progress, not regress. So I'm very disappointed in the lack of financial support, but our heart and soul of our patients are still in this.
I have seen an email in the past few days in a GoFundMe campaign being organized by Doug Hyatt for a legal challenge of sorts, and I saw a lot of different people contributing to that. They raised about $20,000 in a few days. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yes. The Douglas Hyatt and Jeffrey Steinborn, and I believe Aaron Pelly is also involved, are going to sue on 50-52 to get an injunction against it. The conversations that I've been involved with people that know a little bit more than I do about the law, which is pretty much anybody, is that it's likely the injunction will be denied initially and have to be appealed. So this is not a quick fix by any means, and it won't be inexpensive. So I applaud the attorney's efforts to work for patients, and I'm glad that they have the GoFundMe ability. But in raising for an initiative campaign, you've got to know what each donor's information is according to their contribution level, and that's not something that's easily accomplished.
Have you considered a GoFundMe campaign for R76?
Yes, as I said, Paul, with the tracking needed for all the PDC reporting on donations, I don't believe the mechanism is there to effectively make use of that for an initiative.
So,
and I would love to have anybody that knows PDC requirements tell me differently. Chris McManus, who ran our GMO campaign here a few years back, don't you?
No.
Okay. Anyways, he has worked with the gathering companies that we discussed. You and I know people that he's worked with, and he's actually taking care of our PDC reporting. And I have a call I need to make to him today, so I will have that discussion again. And but I don't think it's something that works for this type of action.
I see. Well, it might not hurt, but I mean, if that doesn't meet the reporting requirements, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Right. Maybe there's a political action committee might be able to do that and then donate to us. But, Paul, you got to realize we are not experts at this. We have experience. My experience in the past few campaigns and working with you down there has been vastly beneficial to everything we do up here. But I'm a guy that makes $12 an hour 4 days a week, looking at paperwork. And, I've got my little life at home. I got to go home and feed the cat. I got to go cut the grass. I got to do all the things that we all do. And so we're lacking the powerhouse experts and knowledge that we need. I mean, we've got good people that do good work for what they do, but we're still missing a lot of, there's a lot of holes to fill. And fundraising, of course, is one of them.
Mm-hmm. So how many dispensaries are there in Washington State? Do you know how many medical dispensaries there are? Do you have any guess? I know
my understanding is that there's the best guess is anywhere from 600 to 800 to 800 to 1,000. That's quite a few. My understanding is that there's over 300 in Seattle. And
let's just take the lowball number on that. The lowball number, you said 600?
Let's say 500.
500. So each of those, if they kicked in even $500, it seems like you'd be close to having it. I mean, obviously, you need 120,000 signatures, and so you need to turn in more than that. You probably need to turn in 180,000.
We figure 155 to 160,000 will statistically get us qualified to the ballot.
Then you'll be at least in the range. But to be safe, you probably want to have 180,000 or 200,000. So anything above these guys kicked in, even $500 each.
Right.
They would have an incentive to stay open, but time is ticking. What is it? Today's the 25th, and you have to turn in these signatures in, 4 weeks, right?
Yes. Yeah, actually, a month from today. Paul, there's news in our social media about an access point that's down in the Olympia area. This guy makes his living off of patients. He is not carrying any of the paper. He's not carrying Kurt Ludden's Initiative 1372. He is not carrying Referendum 76, and he's not carrying Real Legalization 738. That's a symptom of what's wrong with our industry here. There's like I said, people got their exit strategies. They're going to get out now, or they're going to get out at the last minute. But they're getting out, and they just don't care anymore, and they're not willing to throw down to give back what they've gotten. They're just going to take it and go. So it's disappointing, but it's the reality. What do you do? I work here at the market. We have advertising that we send out. Okay, we we've taken advertising opportunities to other access points. And as part of that sales activity, they've been taking the referendum. And, the staff has come back and told me they don't want it. But we're working against ourselves, our own apathy.
Yeah, that's amazing that, these businesses aren't going to kick in to, for their own survival.
Yeah. Well, I'm in over $1,000 in personal costs myself so far. So, and I'm probably put another $1,000 into it the next month. But we cannot stop. All right. It doesn't matter what comes at us. The gains have been made. The benefits have been seen. Patients have been served. Okay, and we cannot let that go away. We cannot just give up, throw our hands up in the air, and dig deeper into our wallets just to please the state. I refuse to exchange what has been a criminal prohibition where we take our people and put them in jail for an economic one where we just take our people and reach into their wallets and take their resources when they are the ones that truly need them. We cannot stop. So we'll see how this turns out. I mean, people are getting more and more involved every day. The mailbox is fuller each time I go to it. So it's a matter of time. We have a deadline. We'll meet it or we won't. But people need to do what they can. Put pressure on your access point. If you don't see referendums or initiatives or anything in your access point, ask them why not. What are they doing to preserve your medicine and your access?
Well, and I need to preserve this broadcasting network, and in order to preserve this broadcasting network, we have to take commercial breaks, and then when we come back, we're going to pick up where we left off here at Time for Hemp.
Listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. The only broadcasting network dedicated to ending the global war on drugs on iHeartRadio.
Your source for quality cannabis and sativa seeds. Serious Seeds are the creators of legendary strains like AK-47, Bubblegum, Chronic, Cali Mist, and White Russian. The AK-47 is probably the most awarded strain on the planet. The high THC content of AK-47 makes it the perfect medical strain for patients seeking quick pain relief. Cali Mist is an almost pure sativa. Female medical cannabis patients have reported that this strain helps relieve menstrual cramps. Serious Seeds just acquired another Dutch high-quality seed bank, Magus Genetics. From now on, Serious Seeds can offer you even more award-winning strains. The fine folks at Serious Seeds strive to breed the best cannabis genetics that they can find, so patients can rely on the effectiveness of their medicine. Go to SeriousSeeds.com to grow your medicine. That site again is SeriousSeeds.com.
Well, now, chocolate cake makes my poor stomach ache, and all those pills are too much for me to take. I don't like cocaine 'cause it makes me all uptight, but coffee and reefer makes me feel alright. Crystal meth will make you high.
Yeah, coffee and reefer does make me feel all right. Out of sight every night. Let me say, I'm trying to make my day work out tight by getting in front of my computer and changing the world is how I do my my activism as a radio show host and as a broadcasting network, I work diligently to make certain that our message is heard all around the world. And there's a group of us that are working diligently to make that happen. Like a good joint, Time for Hemp is best when shared with friends. Don't forget to check out our online magazine. We got about 2,000 subscribers to it now, and it's only been out a few months. And also get our Google app from the Google App Store, the Time for Hemp Google Plus app. And all of our other apps can be found on the timeforhemp.com homepage, our Tumblr app, our iHeart app, all the other things that you use to keep in touch with the website on your smartphones, tablets, and handheld devices. With that said, we're going to get back to our joint conversation with our joint host and our joint guest here in the Big Joint Broadcast. And Don, I do have a question. I am stunned. Everybody talks about all the wonderful things that happened in Colorado, all the great things that happened in Colorado, how Colorado is leading the nation, and Colorado showing how it's getting it done by getting a nice tax base and figuring out how to get a lot of business and stimulating a lot of tourists coming in there and people coming in to grow, and it's becoming a nice boom for the whole state. And all we keep hearing about what happened in Washington is what a horrible mistake it was, how people had to hold their nose to vote for what happened, how it's almost just damaged and destroyed the entire marijuana industry there. What's up with all of that?
Well, it is, as you say. It's that bad and can be worse. And I want to, Paul made a good point over the break. People can get involved now. Go to r76no.org. That's r76no.org. We talked about the fact that there's probably about 500 plus access points in Washington State, and that some of them are not getting involved. The estimates of patient count are probably to 100 to 150,000 patients in Washington State. So if you're listening to this broadcast and you're a patient, go to the website and get a petition. All right, you sign it. Make sure every patient you know signs it. You have family and friends and neighbors that love and care about you. They know you're good people, and they don't want to have bad things happen to you. Have your friends and neighbors sign. Okay, have your coworkers sign, and give them a sheet and have them spread it. If we had 100,000 people sign it, we could have this done in a day. If we have 10,000 people share it, we could get it done in 20 days, which is about the time we have left, 20 to 30 days left. So get involved. This is your medicine. This is your access. This is your ability to even get an authorization. This is your chance to keep yourself off a registry, if that makes any difference to you. So get involved with Referendum 76 and go to our website and check us out. But we have to do this.
Well, I agree. I sure hope you guys can pull it together in the 4 weeks or so you have left. Seems like reaching out to all those dispensaries would be a big benefit. Is there anybody that's handling that, trying to work on the dispensary outreach?
Yes, we have a couple of homebound patients that have, cell or home phone ability with unlimited long distance, and they're making those calls as they can. So this is where we get our list to mail out to. People are emailing us in, please send us petitions, and we're making the outreach, and we're sending petitions out that way. And people are just taking the initiative and using the file retrieval code from FedEx and printing their own out and sending those in. And the mail is improving. I mean, it's getting better and better every day. The mailbox it's not a small mailbox, and it was pretty full today. So, and we check it every day. So get those petitions in. They do not count until they're into us. And and as you know, Paul, only sign it once. If you sign more than once, you actually put the campaign at risk of having a much higher hurdle to cross, because your attrition rate, your failure rate of bad signatures or duplicate signatures, that can affect whether you get the ballot or not.
Okay. So tell us which one of the dispensaries out there have been the most supportive. Who've been your biggest supporters, can you say?
Honestly, I can't. I can say that I want to give out a shout out to some individual volunteers. Gina Garcia, who lives in the Chenasket area, eastern Washington. This lady has been one of medical cannabis's most hardcore supporters over the last several years. She's been at the Capitol. She's a grandmother. She's a veteran, and she is feisty. And Gina goes to all the festivals that she can. She broadcasts on social media where she'll be. You know, hey, I'm heading out down to Lacey. I'm going to be going through these towns. You know, hit me up if you want sheets. And just a powerhouse. We have another guy who goes by the name of Sticky Green Clouds on social media. Another tireless volunteer, just wonderful, and has been instrumental in getting petition sheets out to the Puget Sound area and western Washington. And all of this goes on, quietly. People aren't out there doing this for the recognition. They're doing this because their heart is in the cause. And Paul, this is why I do this. I've got mine. My medicine's fine. But every day I hear about people that are hurting, and actually that reminds me. I want to talk about George Abrantes. George Abrantes is an independent filmmaker. He's done work for Cubby TV. He's producing his own independent documentary about the 502 legalization in Washington State. He's worked with Steve Sarich. He's worked with Tom Butler on an independent production. Tom had a property use issue. George lives in a house with 2 cancer patients, one of whom died last Monday. And she has some property in eastern Washington, and George went out with another couple to secure the property. And they were confronted by squatters that had been living there. And in defending the woman, George was hit by a car, but the car ran over her and then backed up over her again, killing her. So George is in Spokane's Sacred Heart Hospital right now. And he's one of our people that cares about patients, and now he's suffered because of it. But it's all of these people. This is why we fight. This is not about getting high. People want to get high. I fought for that too. Not under these conditions. I want people to be able to grow their own and to be free, and to be able to enjoy their freedom. This is not what we have in Washington. This is not the way it appears to be going in Washington. But this is the way it has to go, or we're not done yet. Our job is not finished until there's no fight left to fight over and the plant grows free. So to all of our volunteers and to all of those that work so hard for the plant, I thank you all.
All right, well, I'll jump in. This is a good time for me to jump in here, and we're down to the last about 6 minutes of the broadcast, and this gives Paul a chance to put a spotlight on the hard work he does every Friday night with this remarkable team when we do Cannabis Common Sense. Paul, you want to let people know about that? And I know we're on a hiatus for a week.
Yeah, we're got the 4th of July coming up, but we have a tape show going out tomorrow night and a tape show on the 3rd of July, but we'll be back live on the 10th of July. You can find out about it at hemp.org. That's HDMP.org. Just click on Hemp TV, and you'll see our weekly live TV show. We've almost done 800 shows, and Casper is the joint host, and that is the portal to all our websites, that's hemp.org.
And a great show, Paul. Hey, gentlemen, I hate to run off before the close of the show, but I'm about to go to work, and I have to leave you now. But thank you for your support of the referendum. Thank you for your support of cannabis and hemp. And thank you both for all you do.
And I want to remind people out there that we are a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week broadcasting network. We are not just a 1-hour show. And we ask that you get involved with the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network and share us with your friends. We got broadcasting coming out of England. Steve Danks is bringing this show back to the network. We got broadcasting out of Canada and, of course, America and all around the world. So we are doing what we can to keep up with the global marijuana movement. And remember, the next time you hear me, you'll know that it's Time for Hemp.
The money that they spend. Take another look and spend some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes, it's time for him. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 bales of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. No clothes, they got no rent. Well, time for help! Yeah.
Well, now that the people of Colorado have legalized pot, for everybody, and not just for longtime sufferers of well, whatever it is I have. They must realize they are the Jackie Robinson of marijuana legislation. Which is why they can't go all Cheech and Chong on us. You guys have to get this right, or it's going to ruin it for everybody. So embrace it. Be the Jackie Robinson of pot. Now, I bring this up because New York Times Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Maureen Dowd recently had a bad pot trip in a Colorado hotel room, and it raised important issues like, Maureen, you finally decided to do pot and you didn't ask me to guide you through it? I'm hurt. It's like being personal friends with Hercules and not asking him to help you move. I mean, I think you know my credentials, okay? I was #1 on High Times Magazine's list of pot comics in 2006. I should have also totally won in '99. I had an amazing year. I also won High Times Best Cable News Show in '07 when they said, when it comes to cannabis advocacy on television, no one can touch Bill Maher. I was the keynote speaker at the 2002 Normal Convention. I was College Party Guru's #4 celebrity pothead of all time. And I am the proud owner of this trophy. This is real. Presented to me, sent to me in the mail, commemorating my induction into the Jose Cuervo Party Hall of Fame in 2000. Okay? I have spilled more pot than most of you have smoked. So I believe I have the gravitas to offer some advice to Colorado and everyone on saving this experiment in personal freedom. And the first rule is, don't mix pot with alcohol. It doesn't make it better because it's two good things. It's like funny porn. It actually makes both awful. Even more important, if you've never had pot, don't eat it the first time. Oh, God, it's so much more intense when you eat it. It would be like losing your virginity to Ron Jeremy. And it's dangerous, since edibles look just like regular food. So a newbie sees a pot brownie and thinks, 1 brownie, 1 serving. Or, being an American, 6 brownies, 1 serving. Now, if you do eat it, remember, it takes time. So stop watching the clock. Just relax, and trust me, in a couple hours, you'll be saying, "You're doing a heck of a job, brownie." Now, I personally don't eat it because it makes me paranoid, and nothing ruins a party like people who are paranoid and delusional. Just ask the Republicans. But if you do eat it and get paranoid, this is important. Stay out of the bathroom! I don't know why, but paranoid people want to be in the bathroom. I guess they think they'll be closer to emergency facilities like a sink. But they wind up cowering like Oscar Pistorius is on the other side of the door. Oh, and if you are in the bathroom, don't look in the mirror. Just don't. You see, one reason why pot is productive for creative people is it allows you to see things you've long grown accustomed to as if for the first time. But don't try it with your face! Finally, stay away from stuff that's only for veteran smokers. Pot stores sell these super concentrated crystals called keef that long-time stoners add to their pot because they're jaded. But this stuff is dangerous. It's harvested directly from Willie Nelson's beard. And it should not be sold to novices. So, Colorado, don't sell keef to novices. Talk to customers like a pharmacist would. After all, we are pretending this is medicine. And mostly, stop selling pot products that look like children's candy. That's not what stoners would do. That's what R.J. Reynolds would do. We don't want to market it to children, and I'm sure parents don't want their kids on pot. Adderall? Sure. Lithium, Lexapro, Klonopin, why not? Prozac, Paxil, Zoloft, of course. But pot is the new kid. It has to play it safe. Let's not throw the baby out with the bong water. And let's all of us remember, you don't need to do drugs to have a good time. But why take chances?